Good evening, everyone. We are back with something slightly different this week. It's still Star Wars related. This was actually an idea pitched by you because The Acolyte finished last week. By the way, if you haven't checked out our reviews on The Acolyte, please do, and please go and do that. It was a great discussion. It was 8 weeks of agreeing with certain things, arguing about other things. We had a really good turnout for it and some good comments along the way. And you pitched this to me, I think, a couple of weeks before we wrapped up Acolyte. And you were saying, like, I want to keep the Star Wars streams going every week. And I was like, okay, do tell. We unveiled what we're going to be tackling next, but we wanted something in the interim. And this is where I say, like, I've been a very bad friend. I've been when it comes to this. So you, well, I'll pass over to you in a second. You can talk about the project. So if you can see the title of this video, we are reviewing your fan edit from a couple of years ago, which is an edit of episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, called Star Wars: A Spark of Hope. And I just haven't had, life has just been non-fucking stop. And I haven't had time to watch it until today. I mean, you sent me stuff during the production of the thing and you were showing me.
You're under
so I
the
saw
red
bits.
saber too.
Huh?
You're the Sith here.
Yes, I am. I really am. But I got it watched, and we're here to talk about it. I'm hoping my internet connection's okay because I've just had a comment pop up saying that having trouble connecting. So hopefully everything's okay. But yeah, without further ado, I'm just going to hand over to you if you want to just kind of, well, first off, tell everyone what a Spark of Hope is and sort of the behind the scenes on how you made this thing, how you went about it.
Well, basically, a Spark of Hope is my ideal episode 9 from what I have to work with right now. Hint, hint. So it started with there was a community project called the Rise of Skywalker Ascendant, which is basically just the ideas present in the Rise of Skywalker, but told as best that they could. Again, with, I mean, I say resources available, but like they came up with a lot of resources that they had available.
Mm-hmm.
They've made a very substantial. Hey, Travis.
How you
They've
doing,
made
man?
a very substantial effect on that movie. If you were like, I didn't mind the ideas in in the Rise of Skywalker, but I think it was executed very poorly. Watch HAL 9000's The Rise of Skywalker Ascended, because it's really, it's what you want, probably. And so I didn't want that, though. I mean, I don't mind it. I appreciate it for what it is, but I don't like the ideas in The Rise of Skywalker. And so
Mm-hmm.
I got Hal's permission to use Ascendant as a base because it's got 5.1 audio, so, which is, for those who don't know, is surround sound. Makes it a lot easier to edit with. I don't export in surround sound because that's a lot of hassle. Let's just leave it at hassle, because there are a lot of angles I could go there. Uh, so a long time ago, like right after The Rise of Skywalker came out on Blu-ray, I saw somebody made an edit that just cut out Palpatine. Not great. Like there, it focused on the fleet, but something was obviously missing because huge chunks of dialogue are just removed. This was a nice, I appreciate what they were trying to do, but with such limited resources, they couldn't do it. With the advancement of voice AI plus certain voice actors that I know, I was able to take that idea up several notches, I like to think. That's more a testament to how obviously that was edited, though.
Mm-hmm.
What? Uh, is there anything? Anything specific you think I should tackle in that stuck out to you? Oh, the goal was, in the end, make the best sequel to The Last Jedi unedited. If you watched The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and if you went into the theater and this was what came out in theaters, it would work as a whole trilogy. I think I did that.
Mm-hmm. We'll go into that more in just a second. We've had a comment here from Travis Mitchell, who says, I hated Rise of Skywalker on release, it being the only film I'd call bad. But I was seeing people react to it on YouTube and enjoy it. It made me look at it differently, and I've accepted its place. You know what? I mean, if you're new to this channel, you probably don't know this already. If you follow the stuff, you know that I absolutely detest the sequel trilogy. I try and blank it from my head canon. And if you put a gun to my head and said, pick your favorite one of the sequel trilogy, I would have such a hard task of doing that, because I think that they're all bad in kind of unique ways. But they all kind of level off with each other. But I will say, probably out of all of them, Rise of Skywalker, maybe it's through various like edits I've watched of it and stuff like that, Rise of Skywalker is the one that I've watched the most. Because I find it's just switch your brain off. This is the most dumb thing I've ever seen. It moves at 1,000,000 miles a second. So I don't even know if I go so far as to say the pacing's good, because the pacing is still bad because it moves too fast. But because there's always something happening, like you don't have time to think what's happening. And they don't want you to think about what's happening, because even the people writing it don't know what's happening.
I have had similar thoughts when comparing Attack of the Clones to The Rise of Skywalker, because so the way I summarize the prequels, I think of the Phantom Menace as a very well executed bad idea. I think of the Revenge of the Sith as a very poorly executed good idea. Attack of the Clones is a very poorly executed bad idea.
I don't think it's a bad
And
idea.
so,
we disagree on that. I like Attack.
And in my opinion, so is The Rise of Skywalker. And when asking myself which of those two is worse, at least when I'm watching The Rise of Skywalker, I'm not bored, because I don't have time to be bored.
Oh, I think there's way more going on in Attack of the Clones, personally, and lore building and genuinely good characters in there. Like it's not great. they the execution was definitely fluffed, but there's a lot I like in there still. Yay! Brinsley says somehow Brinsley returned. Do you know what I will say? Because we'll get to the edit in just a second. It's still episode 9. It's still, you have to work with what you've got, and some lines like that. When you see the original of that, because you do change that scene, actually, you do remove that because there is no Palpatine in there. But when you watch the original, can you just see the life behind? Oh god, what's the actor's name? Oscar Isaac's eyes just die when he has to say that line. You can see. I don't know. I just get the vibe when I watch that film. I just get the impression he has tuned the fuck out of that movie when I see him on screen. Kind of the same with John Boyega as well. And you see them in interviews as well. You can certainly see that. My God.
John Boyega especially. Oscar Isaac I wouldn't put there yet. I would say that started to come more after the post-movie interviews and a little bit in the ADR. 3PO, move your metal ass!
I hate that line. I hate it. How modern is that?
Record that one again, Oscar? You want to record that one more time, maybe?
Well, it's in episode 8 as well. Like, well, let's hope that big ass door. I'm like, George Lucas would never have written a line like big ass door. Like, it's so modern. Like, how, I don't know. Anyway,
I'm very okay with lines that George Lucas wouldn't have written.
Yeah, it's just it just doesn't fit Star Wars. It just doesn't fit. Oh, that big ass door. Oh, move your ass. Like, fuck off.
Metal ass. Move your shiny metal ass, Bender.
Travis says, call it arrogant, but I've turned some people around to the sequels. As Anakin says, maybe there's hope for you. Yeah, there is absolutely not. I'm not turning around to the sequels at all.
Oh yeah, no, not him.
Travis says, I've re-edited Attack of the Clones years ago, removed the asteroid field in the droid factory scene with the 2 droids, and it makes it much better, I think. And I have a massive soft spot for it. I can't talk today. Where Rise struggles it's a film of checkpoints, like you're watching someone play a video game but skip all the cutscenes. It feels hollow and lifeless. Yeah, and there's even straight up video game sections, like
They
when
do
you
skip a
beat the
lot of the
snake
dialogue.
boss and it opens the next passageway.
No. She didn't beat the snake boss. She skipped the snake boss. There was an exploit. Because the thing
That's
is,
true.
you don't gain because there are 3 ways to get past the snake boss. If as soon as you see it, if you attack it, you gain dark side points. But if you wait for it to attack you first, you will get poisoned, but you don't get the dark side points. If you heal it, then you get light side points.
Travis says, fun fact, in the junior novelization, it's 3PO who says somehow Palpatine returned, which makes it work much better. I don't know if it makes it work much better because it's still the same line, but 3PO is without a doubt the saving grace, if there is any grace to be saved in Rise of Skywalker.
Here's what I'll say about the line "somehow Palpatine returned." It's not it as a line in that scene with that context. It doesn't not work, but it's all we get.
Yeah. Oh no! We do get more. We do get more.
As far as
the dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural. There you go.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're breaking up really bad, dude. I said we do get another explanation. The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
There we go. Not long enough.
Yeah, I know. That's what she said. Let's talk about your edit then. So,
I'm sorry. Sorry to hear that.
Where do we want to begin with this then? How are we diving into this thing? We don't really have a plan for this. Usually we review edits to your criteria. I don't actually have that. I don't have that written down. I can't remember the section, so I'm just going to talk. I would rather watch this over the theatrical version of episode 9 that we got. I think the biggest thing that is made, which I've realized, and I don't think I have seen an episode 9 edit that's done this, although you have referred to some that have done it before, is the removal of Palpatine. That was, I mean, they're straight out with it at the beginning of episode 9. And if you can't get on board with that from the opening title of the opening crawl, you ain't going to enjoy the rest of the film. And I always hated the fact that Palpatine is the best thing alongside 3PO in episode 9, but his presence is also kind of the worst thing about that movie too. So, this edit does away with that completely, and you still manage to have a way where Exegol is a presence in the film. Kylo goes there because he hears whispers and rumors of an ancient Sith fleet, like a fleet that the Empire have created from back in the day. And he's just going there for military might. Kylo is fundamentally the big bad of this movie, which I think is kind of what The Last Jedi was setting up. I don't know how successful that would have been because Kylo's been kind of a pushover for 2 movies straight. And then I don't think he would have had the gravitas to be the main villain. Nonetheless, with this edit, I appreciate that he is the one villain. It just goes to show that you really don't need Palpatine or a Snoke or anyone like that, really. And you still manage to have like a sufficient climax to the movie. I thought, well, you're going to take away all that bombastic stuff with Palpatine and Exegol. Like, how are you still going to pull it together? But I don't want to give too much away about the edit because I do want to encourage people to watch it themselves. And there is a link to the edit in the description down below, by the way, to your channel and how to access the edit. But you still have like the space battle at the end. So there's the big Star Wars, which you come to expect. And also you have the lightsaber fight from the Death Star. So there is still an ending. There's still a lightsaber fight going on. And yeah, exactly that. So I enjoyed it because of that.
It's like Mustafar, but it's colder.
It's water. Let's just see. Oh, Brinsley says, full disclosure, I haven't seen it all yet. Can you let me know the main changes? Well, I guess I can hand over to you for that if you want to explain some of the changes.
I think that makes sense. Major changes are no Palpatine. It's been removed. I try to better just follow the themes and ideas from The Last Jedi, which includes things with involving Rey's backstory. Major change, it's so there's so many little things like Phasma is back. Somehow Phasma returned. And the Sith troopers from Exegol to help explain where they came from and who's manning this fleet. They are Boba Fett clones or Jango Fett clones. And that's a few things.
There's kind of an alternate ending as well. I'd say the ending's a little bit more fleshed out and offers a more conclusive ending to the saga overall, and the trajectory of and that's kind of an element that I think George Lucas wanted to do in his treatments for his sequel trilogy ideas, was a sense of, well, in his ideas, it's Princess Leia who was going to be the chosen one, apparently, according to him. I know he changes his mind on who the chosen one is every single day of the week, but it was fundamentally going to be her as, trying to usher in a new age of democracy at the end, and she was going to be the chosen one. She was going to lead them to like a brighter future, a brighter tomorrow. And whilst it isn't Princess Leia, I feel like you've still kept the themes of that for the ending. I won't go so far as to say it's like Return of the King syndrome, but because you do keep a lot of the endings, but it feels different with how you've restructured it. You've taken certain scenes before with like Luke on the island with the Force Ghost, and you've moved it here and there, and things have been chopped and changed, and I think it works really well. If I was going to offer like any criticism, and this is just to me, the whole Sith troopers and cloners and everything, I don't feel like they were really fleshed out, and they're not fleshed out in the original movie anyway. And adding the Jango Fett voice, I wasn't a massive fan of that personally. I think because they're just Sith troopers. Like, what do the Sith troopers do in the film? They're just red stormtroopers. I feel like they could have been anyone. So it was weird for me hearing Tamora Morrison's voice, but that was just me personally. Yeah,
it was just there to be like, this is what they are. This is where they came from. In fact, I had an idea for how to better cement that, except it would have contradicted the first trailer I released, which was like a month before the final release. And all I would have to do is replace like 2 shots, and it would really get that across. Except the shot I would replace was in the trailer. Mm-hmm. And so that's going to be in a future updated one where I include better voice AI and some other things that are soon to be available.
Mm-hmm. Travis says, not sure if you did it, but I feel having Leia be the one who says always after Luke says the Force will be with you would have been better. I'm guessing, isn't that Exegol with the Force Ghost voices?
Yeah, no, that's HAL 9000's edit. The one that this is an edit of does that.
Yeah. But as we said, there is no Palpatine. There is no fighty fight with Palpatine at the end because he ain't in the movie. So, yeah, and I'm fine with that. It was amazing how much I realized that I didn't need it and didn't miss that whole side of things. I think you've also taken ideas from what may have been the original Colin Trevorrow Duel of the Fates, which was what they were going to go for Episode 9 before Kathleen Kennedy and Disney put the kibosh on that. We do have a script that's, I don't know if it's ever been mentioned that it's official, or we have it on good authority that it's official.
I believe it is at the very least on good authority that it is official.
Yeah.
Especially that I know that at least more than one version of the same script exists.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's
the ideas are certainly, I've heard those. Yeah. When things were getting leaked before the film, that those were some of the same ideas within that script, maybe. So,
well, not just that, like there are, to my understanding, there are at least 2 versions of the same Duel of the Fates script with slight variations, which tells me it's official, and those are 2, like a 3rd draft and a 5th draft or something.
Yeah,
or maybe a first draft and a 3rd draft, and who knows?
But one of those main ideas
next to each other, though.
One of those main ideas, which it's kind of funny when you read the script for Duel of the Fates, because in The Last Jedi, Luke is filled with so much remorse for what happened with Kylo, and he feels really bad, so much so he takes himself into self-imposed exile and cuts himself off from the Force. And at the end, he is like a bit smarmy with him, but then in the original version of Episode 9, he was just going to talk shit to Kylo throughout the majority of that movie. He was, from beyond the grave, he was going to troll this guy for the rest of his mortal life. And
he does it a couple times, yeah.
he really does. He's just talking shit to him the whole time, which would have been great. But you don't have him troll him to that level, but you do have a scene towards the beginning of the movie where you have, as you said, like you're trying to make this a sequel to The Last Jedi, and some of the ideas from that, where Luke at the end of that says, "Strike me down and I will always be with you. See you around, kid." Especially, you are continuing that over. So you have Kylo when he's approaching Exegol and finding the fleet. You have Luke trying to dissuade him from going down this dark path and still trying to pull him back to the light. That kind of takes me on to another criticism I have, though, but I know you're not giving anything away, but if you do choose to do a redo of this, I think this is something you could easily improve now with how far AI voices have come and the new things that are open to you. I knew it wasn't Mark Hamill. Like, the more I was listening to it, I knew who it was meant to be, and I appreciated the idea behind it as more of a concept. But if you're looking for sort of like an immersive film experience, when I'm listening to it, I can tell that it's not Luke. I thought the Kylo Ren voice that you had was really good. And like you had the modulation, everything on the mask, but I do think there are some scenes where it was a little bit difficult for me to hear what Kylo was saying. The scene, especially in the hangar where he has the conversation with Rey, I did lose a few things in the dialogue. One thing that I didn't lose was Heir to the Empire. I was like, he said the thing. It's like, the only way for me to save the day is that I need to be Superman 4, the quest for peace. Oh, so that's why I thought that. But I was like, Disney beat him to the punch as well, didn't they? Didn't they do that shit in Ahsoka?
They did. They said they're calling Thrawn the heir to the Empire.
That's it. Oh god. Yeah. But I got a laugh out of that. I was like,
here's what I will say about that scene. The original hangar scene between Rey and Kylo, that's the big reveal scene where Kylo reveals that she's a Palpatine. But at this point, I've already done the big reveal for Rey. It was in the scene, like 2 scenes prior. So I had no fucking idea what to do with Kylo, and so what to do with this scene. And so I wrote this monologue for Kylo to just say at Rey, to give her like this last chance to join him.
Yeah,
because that's a big change that I do for this whole. So you know how so for those of you who have seen the Rise of Skywalker, Kylo the whole time is like, "I'm gonna find you and turn you to the dark side, even though Palpatine said he wants me to kill you, even though Palpatine doesn't want me to kill you, even though." I
mean, he does try and run her over in the desert as well. Like, he is trying to fucking mow her down in a TIE fighter for some reason.
I would call that a game of Jedi chicken.
He wants to turn her to the dark side. Well, he's not going to be able to achieve that, is he? If she's splattered on his fucking windscreen, if she loses that game.
Yeah, but it's not like he's not giving her a chance to like get out of the way. If she can't survive him just kind of doing that for that long. No. Hang on. Darth Bane, Sith philosophy. If she died from that, she was weak. She didn't deserve to be his apprentice.
Well, he should have fucking died as well in the fiery explosion, which thankfully you've removed out of this as well. There's no scene where Kylo is caught in a fiery ball of death,
do the flip,
hurtling at like 1,000 miles an hour. So I'm glad that's gone.
He doesn't survive what Plo Koon could not.
That scene worked a lot better for me. That whole like forced tug of war thing with the fucking prison carrier with Chewie in there, which turns out to not have Chewie in there, and he was in a second one which we didn't see and no one else saw for some reason.
You see it in this one. You see it in this one. You see both.
But yeah, you got rid of that tug of war. It flowed a lot better, I thought, without that. Was that an Ascendant? I can't remember. Or did you restructure that yourself, that scene?
That idea is movies remasters.
Right.
He has not released that video, that like edit on its own in a video. However, he did describe it in a video where he calls other editors to help him. And I actually, in like two of the shots, I have helped with that. But so I keep the smoke from Kylo's crashed thing,
Hmm.
and he wants that painted up. So his is gonna hopefully look better than mine does.
Hmm.
I used his idea, but I want it perfectly clear. If you tell me your idea and I'm like, I'd like to use that idea, you need to publish the fact that it was your idea, or be
Yeah.
okay with me using it if I'm going
Yeah.
to use it.
Let's get to a few of the comments here. So Travis
Somebody
says,
accused me of stealing some stuff from Movies Remastered, which the thing they accused me of stealing was the stupidest fucking thing to accuse me of stealing, because all it was a shot that I took a color wheel to and I adjusted slightly.
this is regarding the clones, or the clone troopers. Travis Mitchell says, I like that idea. Django was likely one of the clone strains they still had, so they'd probably experiment with it again. I don't know if they'd have Tamora Morrison's voice, though, but that's kind of a thing they've established in the films that...
No, they wouldn't. I don't think they would have. Okay, they might have the accent if they flash trained them using RT cloning stuff from Legends.
Travis says, in the theater for Rise, when Kylo arrives to Exegol, we see the storms, it being a salt flat. I was expecting to reveal that it was Camino, the water being sucked into the planet for resources.
Oh, I didn't realize that was a salt flat. If only one of the Sith Eternals had like dipped his finger in it and gone, salt.
I was going to mention it. You beat me to it. Fuck. Yeah. My favorite Duel of the Fates scene is probably when Rey is blinded and everyone senses her telling her to get up. The idea that Force literally awakens and everyone would have been a nice payoff. I don't like the idea that everyone can use the Force now. That's not something that I really like the idea of. But I do like the idea that she actually gets maimed somehow. And that's not just me hating on Rey, but it's just that every character in Star Wars has pretty much had that. Yeah, Anakin has 3 limbs, removed. Luke has his hand. Like, Leia gets shot. Like, people get injured. And Rey is just so perfect and amazing that she doesn't really get injured. She gets slashed on the arm a little bit in The Last Jedi. Yeah, like, and that would have reminded me of The Force Unleashed as well, where that
Anakin
Jedi Master gets blinded.
Anakin lost 5 limbs. Actually, he lost 6 because he gets decapitated in the cave.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, no, he does. Yeah, fuck.
And if we're including, so for those of you who don't know, there is a fan film on YouTube called I don't remember what it's called. I'm sorry. It is in the description of the video, in the description, along with the link to my edit. It is Kylo Ren versus Darth Vader, a fight that is present in the Duel of the Fates script, although very different to the one that we see there. I do pull some Duel of the Fates quotes into that fight.
Mm-hmm.
None of the Vader ones are from Duel of the Fates, but what Kylo says towards the end is ripped right out of a scene. The scene where he throws away Vader's helmet.
Mm-hmm. Travis says one of the best additions in the main novelization is when Finn decides to stay behind on top of the Star Destroyer. Rose asks what he's doing, to which he says, "Saving what I love."
Yeah, I was thinking about like how I could include that, and then maybe I'll find some. But I did actually try to include something along those lines in this.
No, Rose, we should just stop fighting. We should lay down all of our weapons right now because that's how we're gonna win. Saving what we love.
I think like that could have been a really good like wedge between Wedge Antilles between Finn and Poe for episode 9 to get some like interpersonal drama in there where it's just like this isn't about destroying the First Order. This is about saving the galaxy. And he's like,
that's how you do it. That's right. You have to do it.
I thought that was the same thing. And then Finn would say, "That's the problem."
Like, they're blowing up planets. They're not gonna stop.
Yeah, but they're made up of people that can be stopped. Stormtrooper rebellion.
Only if they've got the Force, apparently. Thank you, Episode 9.
Yeah, no, forget morals. You just have the Force.
Yep. I really like that concept, actually, because fucking A, it would have given Finn something to actually do. Because he did fuck all in movie 2, as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, I think a Stormtrooper rebellion would have been the way to go. The issue is that the movie wants to have the Stormtroopers being cannon fodder again, just like they always are. We've got to shoot at Stormtroopers. It's a Star Wars movie, right? So we've got to have like Finn whooping and hollering when he's like pot shotting Stormtroopers, and it's like, that's you out there. They're all other yous, and you've only literally just randomly defected, despite being indoctrinated at birth and having no prior offense. You just suddenly have this turn. It makes no sense to me at all, that whole thing. Everyone's like, oh, an ex-Stormtrooper is defecting. I'm like, yeah, if done well, that can be good. But Finn being like this kind of slapsticky idiot, like this buffoon, all the way through Force Awakens and into The Last Jedi, that doesn't match a character that has been indoctrinated into this regime since he was a young'un, basically abducted from his family. I feel like he'd be a lot more stoic, a lot more grizzled, and apparently that's how John Boyega did want to play the character. And JJ shot him down and said was like, no, play it fun and jokey like a Marvel movie. And then we have the Finn that we have in the movies. So, you know, I don't blame John Boyega. I think he could have absolutely played the character like that, and I think that would have been better served, I think. Travis says, without context of your edit, I'd have that hangar scene be something like Kylo revealing he wants to go with them, knows he can't, and tells her to leave while she can. But then he tries to murder her, though, afterwards,
Cool
doesn't
idea.
he?
Yeah, in the context of this, that doesn't.
Dude, you're breaking up really bad. You're breaking up.
In the sequel trilogy. Oh,
dude, fix your internet. Fix your internet. You keep cutting in and out. It's really bad. Move your router. Move your laptop. Do what you got to do. Turn the internet off on your phone to save on band. It's kept doing it throughout the whole stream, but it's really bad right now. Like, you're frozen. Your voice keeps cutting in and out.
Here we go. How am I doing now?
I can hear you a bit more consistently, but your webcam's still frozen. Travis says, Devil's Advocate, we're desensitized to men losing limbs and heads. With girls, I think it triggers a primitive sense of discomfort watching them in pain or losing limbs, so I see why they wouldn't. It doesn't matter, like, we can still do it. Like, Captain Phasma in a deleted scene gets her hand cut off. Zam Wessel gets her arm cut off. Like, you can... Oh, we lost him. Not to worry, we're still flying half a ship. I'll do what I can until he jumps back in. So, you know, it's important to see characters go through struggles. Game of Thrones has a number of characters going through hardships and rising above it. That's why we should be, you know, get behind characters. That's why we should cheer them on. So just to have someone wrap them in bubble wrap and be like, no, nothing, we can't have any bad thing happen to this character because she's a lady. God damn it. Like, no, you can still have her go through different trials. That's how, you know.
I will say, I was considering actually blinding Ray in this edit. It's with Absinthe, that is very possible. I have no idea, like, what to do about that. Like, what is she just blind for the rest of the movie? Because it gets healed in Duel of the Fates. But is Ray just going to be blind now?
It's like Blinken from Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Exactly.
Master Anakin, you lost your arms in battle.
Jesus Christ. That last thing that Travis has said about the Fathiers, I have thought of that, except for that last part. That would actually be pretty dope. That would be pretty fun. That would be a great callback.
Let me read this. Imagine had they brought the Fathiers to the battle, the destroyer tips over to knock them off, only for them to run up vertically, smashing through the bridge, then overtaking it from the other side.
That's pretty similar to what happens with, like, we know that the Fathiers would be capable of that. I fucking love that.
Oh yeah, that's great. So we freed them from slavery so that they could go, and then yeah, they're just gonna get mowed down by the hundreds. Great. I fucking hate that cavalry charge.
awesome but
Why didn't they should get an army of Gungans back? I would have loved that.
where are the gun? Actually, I think knowing 2015 Disney Star Wars, there is some piece of lore about the destruction of the Gungan species. No, I'm kidding.
They're great.
I know that Jar Jar is alive and well as a clown with a disabled kid.
Mm-hmm. See, legitimately, I would love to see a film of that, but I don't want to see Disney do that because somehow they would fuck that up. I think you could genuinely make like a really emotional piece from that.
Like the sad clown starring Ahmed Best.
Yeah, I think
That's
genuinely
actually
that could be Oscar worthy.
Ahmed Best playing that could be like legit, like some what's his name, Pagliacci,
Joker,
the great clown.
Yeah. Travis says, in my episode 10, Jar Jar is a main character, and go into that. Nice.
I have an idea for how I would put Jar Jar into the sequel trilogy, and it's fucking perfect. And I wish it. There is no 3D model that's like readily available that's high enough quality.
No, I know.
For me to commission this.
You told me about this idea, and I'm fully behind it.
So perfect.
The eye lines wouldn't match, though. That's the issue.
I don't care. I'm fine with that.
Derpy says, "Let's get army of porgs to take down the First Order." Fuck it, why not? Why not? I mean, they're like little gremlins, aren't they? We see them kind of like pulling apart wires in The Last Jedi, so have them be like little gremlins in the inner workings of the First Order.
Derpy, did you see the thing where Darth Jar Jar is actually like a? Did you know they're doing Darth Jar Jar in the Legos?
I'm trying to think of some more changes.
The explanation is like he's split up because the pieces are all mixed up, like because it's Lego, so you get Darth Jar Jar.
I've read that Shakespeare Star Wars to you before, haven't I?
What?
I swear I've read this before. Shakespeare Star Wars. It's the script of all the movies.
I own two of them.
I don't
have Empire Strikes Back, strangely enough.
They don't do Darth Jar Jar, but they do have Jar Jar be this really intelligent character that plays the part of the fool in order to bring about change.
Oh, I haven't read any of the prequels.
I'll see if I can. I did have them on my shelf somewhere. Let me see if I've still got them. I don't have Attack of the Clones or Revenge of the Sith.
What was the last in the actual edit that we were talking about?
Aha, there it is. Where's Phantom Menace? Oh, Sod's Law, the one that I need. I can't find.
Chris, there's a live stream.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to find a thing because it's great. Oh, fuck it. I'll find it another time. I'm not sure where it's gone to.
Somehow.
Yeah, how did you resurrect Phasma? There is no explanation of this.
The same way they resurrected Phasma between Force Awakens and Last Jedi.
And that's why I was kind of weirdly
we
cool
did not
with it.
see her die in either.
Does Phasma do much in this edit? Nope. Is she in it for like a couple of seconds? Absolutely. But doesn't that fit the character up to this point?
Couple of minutes. She does. The thing is, I do make the fact that she's there important.
Yeah, regarding the fate of a certain character. Yeah. But yeah, I'm kind of cool with that. It's 3 times the charm. Why not? Exactly.
I heard
we didn't see her die, so it's fair game.
Yeah, exactly. Did you know that Stannis Baratheon is still alive in that forest?
Yes, he fucking is.
Because
Yeah.
he was
Also
looking
starring
at something
Gwendolyn
over
Christie.
there. Yeah, that's a good point. That scene. Um, no, but I Phasma is voiced using AI, some AI, but mostly her lines from Battlefront 2 because it's Gwendolyn
Mhm.
Christie. One of the first lines in like the compilation of her lines on YouTube is her saying the term is battle scarred, and as soon as I heard that, I knew I had to bring her back.
Mhm.
Like it's just like, okay, I have a use for this. It's that line right there, because assuming underneath the helmet, because the only thing that was exposed of her that went under the flames was her eye. So her face is melted under there.
Mhm.
She is battle scarred. That's what that means.
Phasma, Christ, they said you were dead. Half. I was doing a Dark Knight thing. By the way, that film's celebrating its 16th anniversary as of a couple of days ago, I think it was. Don't that make you feel old? It does me. What was I going to say? That's actually regarding the Phasma stuff. That's one thing that I would like to see tweaked a little bit. When her scenes did show up, they did stick out to me. I appreciated what you were trying to do, and I was fine with it.
Oh
But
yeah.
I think it's some of the color correction on the backgrounds and the lighting doesn't quite match the scenes that they're placed in. So maybe a little bit of extra work on some of the color correction, I think, would really help the integration of that scene. But yeah, I think the lines that you chose were fine, and it was nice to actually I would say it's nice to get the character back because she isn't really a character. She doesn't really do much. But as I say, it's like a pattern across all the films. So you just can't kill her. She's like a cockroach.
I'm gonna write a comic book about how she actually does, because she survives that explosion that we see that in the she survives the Star Destroyer crash
Yeah,
in
exactly.
on
You need
X.
to bring her back in
She
episode
she
10.
she's hunted down later by the remnants of the Sith Eternals, and they sacrifice her, but it doesn't take. They end and she ends up leaving, and she calls the head of the cult a fascist. It's crazy, man.
Travis said, when writing my 10 to 12 outline for fun, I had a draft where Phasma is brought back but changed it to be FN2199 Traitor and thought it worked better. Derpy says, let's talk about Disney still hasn't touched Old Republic era after all these years, purchasing the IP, and now I don't want it because Acolyte was was booty cheeks. I agree. I don't want them to touch anything. I don't want them to go back to anything. At least if they're doing new stuff like episode 10 and whatnot, provided they don't bring any legacy characters back because the damage has always already been done. I'm fine with it. Go nuts. Get what was it? Obey Chinoy or whatever the director's called. The
Oh, okay.
activist. You hire an activist, you're going to get an activist product. That's all I'm going to say. So go ahead, make your episode 10, which isn't technically episode 10, but it is a sequel to Rise of Skywalker, and it does star Rey, and it does take place 16 years after the original, or 15 years after the original. It's basically episode 10. Go fucking nuts, but I don't want them touching shit that's already been done because they ain't going to top that, and they're just going to fucking ruin some more shit. So just leave them to do their new shit.
I got some issues with the Old Republic. I think if Disney ever does touch the Old Republic, I think it would be better if. Oh, fucking. Sorry, I had a hiccup in the connection. Uh, I think it best that nothing Old Republic is ever considered canon, like ever. I like the idea that you just have this era that if something is from that, you can't really take it at face value because
Mm-hmm.
it's before the common recorded history that is the Republic.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah, Travis says, my idea is Finn returning the wreckage of Snoke's ship, canonically abandoned in Crate's orbit, to find info
surely it
on
would have
missing
crashed
kids
down there
captured by
eventually.
savages who make him fight Phasma like Thunderdome. Here's my pitch for episode 10. And Disney, if you're listening, if you nick my idea, I'm fucking coming after you, okay? So if I was to make a canonical episode 10, now I fucking hate episode 7, 8, and 9, but if we were to go that they are canon and you've just got to roll with the punches and roll with the, deal the cards that you, what is it? Play the cards that you dealt, whatever the analogy is. There is still a planet-killing Star Destroyer out there somewhere. In episode 9, there's
Kajimi, and it's just
we see one.
If
that is one that was on Exegol, for some reason, that Star Destroyer and all the other ones that we see across all the different planets falling out of orbit, they left Exegol apparently. So I don't know why all the other ships on Exegol.
Well, no, those are I would assume those are first order ships.
Okay,
like all the ones that we see, like those are first order, not final order.
I thought it was final order because they're only the ones with planet-killing weapons attached to them, with freaking laser beams attached to their heads, and that's the one that destroys Kijimi.
Order. Yeah, but the first order has moved to capture all major systems. Like the one that destroyed Kijimi is final order. All the ones that we see in the montage at the end, those are first order.
Oh, okay. But even still, so that one ship escapes, and But anyway,
not in this. That didn't happen.
The point is that Star Destroyer is still out there somewhere with the potential to destroy every planet that it comes into contact with. So I'd have that be the main threat for at least movie 1. Christ almighty, I'm not thinking about episode 11 or 12 at this point. And Rey, who, when Palpatine said, "Kill me, and my spirit will pass into you, as all the Sith live in me," she does fulfill that. She does kill Palpatine minutes after he says that. So I would have it that somehow Palpatine returns again, and his essence lives through Rey. So she's still going to have more light side, dark side drama, internal, like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, Smeagol, Gollum action going on, and Palpatine fighting inside her to be released. Maybe she could even be pregnant with like Kylo's child through the Force or some shit. I don't know.
Oh, and there we go. Yeah, and that's why they call it the Force.
Palpatine wants in because Hollywood could write that.
But okay, so Travis, I just want to say I like your idea because it's like a continuation of the same conflict, but it's not like it's a continued evolution that if it's going to be 10, 11, 12 and not its own thing, it should be the same Star War. You know what I mean? Because the Galactic Civil War is the Clone War. It's just the continuation of it later. It's not the clones are gone, so it's not the Clone War anymore. But it's still this group of people against the same. It's still the same rebels against the same empire, or at least a lot of the same rebels. There's a lot of overlap.
Resistance.
Well, I'm also I'm talking about against the in like the separatists. Like a lot of separatist systems ended up joining the rebellion.
Travis says that destroyer was the Derifan. Is that how we're pronouncing it?
Oh right, Travis, you read books. You've been talking about the novelization of the Rise of Skywalker. I assume you've read the Phasma book. Phasma would not be captured would not remain captured by cannibals and raiders for long. She would be in charge of that shit in a week.
So that Star Destroyer was the Derifan, which returns to Exegol for the battle. We see the reaction from the crew as they blow up. Okay, but that still stands that they released one of these Star Destroyers out into the wild. Why didn't they release all of them into the wild?
Because there was an artificial time limit when Poe says in 16 hours all major attacks begin. Like there was no reason for it to be in 16 hours, but it was in 16 hours, and that's why it didn't go that, and that's why I like that Ascendant doesn't have the 16-hour clock, doesn't have Kijimi getting destroyed.
Yeah.
You don't have to ask this. You don't have to question this.
I was trying to think of some. You've added like various sound effects in. There was I don't know if it was the Wilhelm scream, but it was like a alternative Wilhelm scream.
I've added a Wilhelm. I've added the Wilhelm scream to the Battle of Exegol. The one I think you're talking about is from Ascendant, and it's one of the jet troopers.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I love that one. But no, I have because I've got one of the Fett clones yell "enemy in range," fire off screen, and then it cuts to a guy getting shot on a horse. He says he does the regular Wilhelm scream.
Mhm. I'd
Warms my
say as
heart every
well what
time.
I really like. I was surprised how well it worked. Actually, is that the new monologues, the new lines of dialogue that you have in the movie, especially like the ending. Um, I mean, it is a bit sort of like flower power kind of. You know, you expect Bob Dylan to start playing pacifism and let's all hug kittens at the very end.
Oh, you're
But
talking about the speech?
yeah, at the very end. But what I was going to say is that the new writing actually this sounds really bad now because I fucking hate the writing in episode 9, but it feels like part of the movie. It doesn't stick out. It doesn't feel like very fan fictiony. It still feels very filmic and
Feels
in
like Star Wars.
continuity of Star. Yeah, in terms of Star Wars, yeah. So I thought the writing on the new stuff that was added works really well. I think what I would like to see for a second version is um, better voice integration. I think now that you have the new
Better
capabilities with the
voice
AI,
AI.
I think you'll achieve that perfectly. Maybe
It's
just a
never
bit
gonna be
more color
perfect, but
correction
yeah,
on like the
it'll be better.
additional, yeah, like a bit more color correction and lighting
Phasma,
correction on stuff like Phasma.
Phasma, it looks like she does because the what like I have a better way of integrating Phasma that I wasn't able to do for this version. And so I made a version that was passable so I could include the fact that she's in this, but that's not how I originally planned for her to look. And
Hmm.
it's not how I intend for her to look forever.
Yeah.
Also, one thing I forgot to we forgot to mention, a lot of death fakeouts are removed in this.
Yes, that's true. Oh,
Like, in
one
fact,
of my
pretty much all of them are removed or changed.
yeah.
Like the
My
Chewies can't be removed yet. It's not the technology's not the editing stuff's not there yet.
we've been talking about ideas about how we might address that.
Yeah, but everything else, because you know both of Kylo's, Ray's, 3PO's.
There's a
3PO's is
lot.
my favorite.
There was no stakes. Palpatine's back. Ben gets stabbed and then gets healed. Ray dies and then comes back. 3PO dies and then comes back. Chewie. But not Hux and Pride, as far as we know. Well,
No,
Pride we don't know, but Hux.
Pride got incinerated.
So
Like
did
we
Anakin.
saw him bend. No, he got burned. He got charred. Pride got incinerated. He got
But
blown.
my
Like the technical term is blown the fuck up.
mhm. um, can I tell the audience what my favorite line is in this edit?
Go
Okay, now
right
for
ahead.
this,
I intend to change it in future versions, so you should.
yeah. Okay, before I give away what the line is, I need to give a bit of context behind another line that you've added in one of your other projects and how certain changes that you make or additions into your films. Sometimes I'm like, oh, personally, I wouldn't do that because you know, but you're a fan of that kind of side of Star Wars. That's fine. But every now and then, you edit something that becomes part of my Star Wars canon, part of my head canon, and you achieved this the first time with a line that you had Vader say. Um, and it's regarding the God.
Burn it.
Yes, burn it. So context behind that scene was you have Vader behind the death of the Lars family, Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, which I thought was fucking wonderful. And he's sat in like his big like swivel chair thing from Empire, and he's
Yeah,
got
he's
his
the
Skype
footage from
screen.
Empire.
And they say like we've been looking for what do they say? They've been looking for
We we've tracked the droids to this homestead. We tracked the droid to the Jawas, but none of the droids had the data. We learned that the Jawas did business at this homestead. We believe that the
and then Vader just fucking cuts him off and says, "Burn it."
burn it,
And he's like, "My lord,"
Lord
and he's like,
Vader.
"I want you to burn it."
I
And
so context, like behind the scenes context, that's a line from Rebels where he's just casually like they're like, "There's a town that the town talk that on the edge has been helping the rebels, has it not?" And yes, talk in town because it's a Hoover town. If you know anything about the early 1900s America,
Right.
um, do you believe that the rebels are hiding there? No, but I want you to burn it. Like he's very just casual about it. And so and so I've seen that used similarly to, but it's still very casual. Like I want you to burn it. I just took burn it. It's just like intense. Just burn it. I want it gone.
And
I
that's
want
when
that thing gone. I hate it.
that's when Vader's at his best for me. A classic example of that is theatrical cut Empire Strikes Back. Luke sacrifices himself in Bespin, throws himself away. Vader just fucking marches out, "Bring my shuttle."
Oh,
And he's
I thought you were talking about
pissed.
when he's just like, ah. I really
No,
should have tried to catch him there.
and he's pissed. Like, he's just like, "Fucking bring my shuttle now." And then what did they
Oh,
change
wait,
that
I don't
to?
remember that
"Alert the
line.
neighboring
I
Star
thought he said,
Destroyer
"Yeah, alert my Star Destroyer to
to
prepare for
prepare
my
for my
arrival."
arrival." That's it. I was like, no, no, stop. You had a great thing going there.
Yeah, no, yeah, no, yeah.
So just
Oh, also, another line from Roche says, "How did you access the temple or access the temple?" That's the "you" that I put into. I want you to burn it.
it's just burn it,
But
and
we've
there's a
talked about
fucking
the
period mark after that. Just full stop. Just burn it, and you can hear that
yeah,
full
okay.
stop too.
And there was a crash zoom that you told me to remove.
There was the original. It was so funny. I really are. Okay, so in the scene where he says like, "Burn it, my lord. I want you." You hung on the same shot of Vader, but then just crash zoomed into his face to burn it, and I was
It
like,
wasn't that close. I went from like a medium shot to a not the extreme close up, but just a close up.
and I thought there are no crash zooms in Star Wars, and it looks weird, and it kind of looks a little bit laughable. So I was like, ditch the crash zoom. But every time when I refer to that now, I add like an artificial crash zoom in person. Anyway, that's backstory. So in my head canon now, Vader was the one behind the death of the Lars family, and he ordered that shit to happen. I fucking love that. I thought that was great. Flash forward to your edit for
And
episode
it went
9,
like
A
that
Spark of
scene.
Hope. And the equivalent of that scene, where there is now a piece of dialogue that's in my head canon and lives rent free in my head forever and always, it's C3PO, and it's what right when R2 loads the memories back in, right, or tells him
But
of
he
all of
doesn't he
the.
does so where he would have okay. So I split it up because you've got uh originally in the towards the end of that scene, you've got R2 talking to 3PO, and 3PO is like, "I don't know who you are because I had my memory wiped. I would remember if I had a best friend, blah blah blah." Should have thrown in, unless we're talking about Babu Frick. Um, but he doesn't say that. I wish he did. Uh, and then it just hard cuts to him getting the memories in his head, and it's a bit, and it's played for laughs, and oh, that death has been faked out.
Mhm.
Um, Instead of that, I have R2 finding out that 3PO has lost his memories at the beginning of the scene. Then the rest of the scene plays, and then when it would normally cut to again the beginning of the R2 and 3PO altercation, you get R2 just sitting there talking to 3PO, like beeping at him, and 3PO's like, "Oh, what? Oh dear." And what else
Mhm.
does he say, Chris?
What he says is it ties it back into one of your favorite Star Wars films, apparently, from what we heard at the beginning of
Huh?
this stream. A
One of my least
line, a
favorite TV.
moment, an event which I've for the longest time hated from Attack
A
of the
lot of
Clones.
people remove from edits, which is why I need to change this line.
Yeah, all of the wacky hijinks that C3PO gets up to in Attack of the Clones. And the line is, "What do you mean my head was on a battle droid?" And I'm like, yes! Now, I fucking hate member berries, okay? I really hate member berries, but member berries can be done well. And that is an outstandingly done member berry. I fucking love it. Like, of all the
Like
moments you could have 3PO recounting, it's the moment his head was on a battle droid. I don't even know what if people know what a fucking battle droid is at this part of Star Wars history now, but there you go. The Jedi are apparently a
yeah,
myth, according to Rey in Force Awakens, and those motherfuckers, like, they're looking for Luke. They know they're not a myth, but a battle droid, that's a reach. But I'm fine with it.
it's so good. I love that line so much. And I really it took me a long time to find a suitable replacement to that line that was still funny because it was
Mhm.
important that the line was funny.
Mhm.
Like, and I found one. I ran it by you. You like this one too. I won't spoil what it is. You can see it in the next version of the edit when it comes out. But I've got it's I needed something that a line that offhandedly lets the audience know R2 is filling in 3PO's memories and he's going as far back as the prequels.
Mhm. Sorry, I was just looking at the comments there. Travis says that episode 2 callback is hilarious, and it would add up as there is battle droids in Babu Frick Shop. Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah. So it's likely one of those first things he saw when he woke up. Holy shit! Yes, love
Was
it.
on one of those.
I mean, as I said, like 3PO is already the best thing about episode 9. Even like theatrical version, he's the best thing. I sent you the clip, and like I mean, I don't like episode 9, but this moment does always get me. And it's where he's talking about the Aki Aki Festival of the Ancestors. And he's just like, every 42 years, known for its colorful kites and its delectable sweets.
And everybody's just staring at him.
And he just turns and I fucking love that. I love it so much. Every line, it's like they took like they say like Babu Frick, and it's like Babu Frick. He's one of my oldest friends. I'm just it's great. I love him.
There's a joke, there's a bit from Rise of Skywalker that gets replaced with a different joke that I think is much better in Ascendant.
Mm,
Uh, so when they're on the when the stormtroopers are at Ochi's ship talking to 3PO,
mm,
and he's just speaking alien at them, and he's like, "That's not even a language," and then he gets shot.
mm.
Instead, it's the stormtroopers like, "Who are you?" And 3PO's like, "I am a highly trained resistance spy." The, why? Are you, what? And then he gets shot.
Mhm.
I like that. I like that a lot more.
There was another line in episode 9 in your edit which I completely forgot about, and this is in the theatrical version. I just forgot about it.
Oh,
Um,
Travis, I just talked about that.
it's where I think it's where they've just fallen into the quicksand. I think, and Poe's like, "I'm all right. Finn's all right." And he goes, "You didn't ask me if I was
Didn't
all
ma-
right." So...
Also, somebody the Bath Time has a question.
Bath Time does have a
Interesting
question.
name, Bath Time.
Bath says, "What's a spark of hope?" Spark of Hope is what we've been talking about for the last hour, but if you have just joined, Spark of Hope is a fan edit that JX produced a couple of years ago now, I want to say. Was it last year you released
About a
this thing?
year.
Yeah,
It was less than a year ago. It was 7. It was 7 months ago. Just call it a
that's
flat
it.
7 months.
And
That's technically the flat 7 months is technically how long I've been single. But throw in another 4 days, then you're good.
so it's a fan edit that he made of episode 9 with the intention of it being a better sequel to The Last Jedi. So continuing a lot of the themes and the
Which I
ideas and the
nailed.
setup from 8. So yeah, that's the conceit. And if you're interested in the edit, there is a link in the description of the video to JX's channel, and specifically to the video where you can find how to watch the fan edit. Let's see. Travis says people hate on him saying I'm taking one last look at my friends, which I saw as him reflecting on all the people in his life who kept him around and projecting all those memories onto those people. Yeah, so when he said that, when he says taking one last look at my friends, I know that he's not talking about anyone in that room. I get the idea that he can see all of the data and all of the things that he's witnessed,
About
and
to
he's
be
like
deleted.
internally
Yeah.
look about it. Yeah, I did have the idea of like if I were to do an episode 9 edit or combine it into some other kind of edit, is to keep that scene and maybe to have like a Member Berries clip show. But then I thought that's a little bit cringe, and
Also, you don't have like enough POV footage of memories he still has.
yeah, and it would just be from like the OT, wouldn't it? And yeah, so I think that would be a bit clunky as well to just do that, and it would just be. Do you remember all these great moments? So I think you can still have that moment and just have it be what it is. Bath Time says, I've been getting a lot of recommendations for Star Wars Theory. Man, he hates Star Wars. It's really sad what's happened. I hate
Yeah,
Star
he's
Wars, but
really
you're
fallen
here.
apart. But Star Wars theory is real. But yeah, you hate Star Wars, but like, well, I was gonna say you still have your soul, but that implies you had a soul at some point.
Yes. Fair.
I feel like Star Wars theory sold that a long time ago.
Well, he's just. I mean, I watched occasionally, like he's on like the Critical Drinker, or he's on Mauler's channel, like with Stargrift and stuff, and I watch him on there. But his criticisms are fairly weak. It ranges from like, oh man, wouldn't it be dope if Darth Maul with robot legs showed up with like General Grievous? That would be sick. Like it's that level of Star Wars. It's the Member Berries. It's the Dave Filoni.
Filoni
Like
files.
he fillets, yeah, he fillets Filoni and thinks he's going to be, he's the best thing to happen to Star Wars when he
Don't
really
don't
isn't.
hesitate. You know that word that can sing. Say it.
Sycophant.
No, he fillets Filoni.
Fillets Filoni.
You
There
know
you
that.
go.
Yeah. No, there's flow to that. Say it. Say it with meaning, with heart.
With gusto this time. And then I mean, I still remember his original streams for maybe The Last Jedi, but I definitely remember his Rise of Skywalker one where he was just stroking the balls and just milking the shaft on that thing. Like he fucking loved it. And then all of a sudden now he's just like, oh no, I always hated episode 9, but I was just too scared to say anything. I'm like, no, you fucking move where the wind's blowing. That's what you do to keep your channel afloat. Now all of a sudden, a lot more people are being vocal about their distaste for Disney Star Wars. So you're going down that route. But before, when it first came out,
And
premiere day, you were loving it, you know? So
you can kind of see this with his reactions to Andor too, where he's just like, "This is crap. This is like, I can't believe they're pushing." And then he's like, because he's reacting to it live, and the comments are like, "Are you insane?"
Like I do agree, I do agree with some of Theory's points sometimes, but other times it feels very.
Even
Let's
Theory
have
take
Boba
different
Fett
routes
and
to the
Darth Maul
same
fighting each
points.
other. That would be sick. That'd be dope. That'd be so dope. Let's have Darth
You and
Maul with
Theory
like fucking
go to
6
the same
lightsabers.
spot, but you take different routes to get there.
Mm. Whereas I just don't like. He says that. Oh, I understand Star Wars better than anyone because I know the guy who was like the choreographer for the lightsaber fights, and I know what George would have wanted. I'm just like, but your criticisms are just so surface. Like he hated Andor because he says like, oh, it has too many screws and bolts in it, and it was boring, and it didn't have this, and it didn't have Darth Maul with like 20 lightsabers in it and stuff like that. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but that kind of what it. If someone doesn't like Andor, that's fine. Like I know some people who said like it's kind of slow, it's kind of boring, it doesn't feel like Star Wars, and I had all those same
He
criticisms
just wants
initially. I
flashy
said it
lights.
was. I said it was slow, and I said it doesn't feel like Star Wars, and that's kind of why I liked it so much was because I'm kind of done with Star Wars, and it was a breath of fresh air, and not to mention it was well written, well directed, and everything in between. So if he doesn't like it, fair enough, but then he'll just be like, oh, and then fucking this person showed up, and it's great because of that. I'm like, no, that doesn't good Star Wars make. Stop it. His lightsabers look really cool though.
A filet mignon
Lightsabers.
and a sea bass crisp.
Fuck off. Just fuck off. That's a Billy Connolly skit, by the way.
Prick.
Today's special.
Oh, I like Stella.
Bath Time says, I saw one where he cried during The Mandalorian, and I thought it was really sweet, to be honest. I mean, I can't. I probably have at some point on my old channel when I did reaction videos. There probably are some things that I got misty to. I know when I saw the live action trailer for Beauty and the Beast, which I hoped at the time was going to be good because I was a naive fan of Disney. How little did I know at that point? And they played the music and they played the member berries. I got sucked in. I used to get sucked in by that stuff too. Believe me, I really did. Now I've seen the light. So yeah, like, I've got misty before. I don't know if I've ever like cried on a live stream before, but to each their own. If it was genuine,
All
then
of my reactions are internal.
if because I know he's mentioned like the character of Luke means a lot to him, like in his childhood, and I get like that with characters too. So if it was a genuine reaction, then fair enough. I remember having a big reaction to that. Again, I was naive at the time. Now I see it for the key jingling that it was and is. And that they did nothing with Luke's character, even in The Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. But at the time, I got suckered in by it, as a lot of other people did. And it was a big moment. So if that was a genuine reaction to him, then fair enough. But if he just did it for clicks and it was all fakery, then, be genuine, I guess. Travis says, if I recall, there's only one POV shot of 3PO, and it's when he's looking down at Anakin and he's about to leave, which itself could work, cut into him saying, thank you, thank the maker, not knowing who it was. Yeah, I mean, that's the scene that I had in mind too, but his memory got wiped in Revenge of the Sith, so prequel error is no bueno. So
I've seen an edit where instead of when he first gets his memory wiped, he says the original line is, "Hello, let me introduce myself. I am C3PO. How may I serve you?" And they took "How may I serve you?" and they said, "Hello, allow me to introduce myself. I am C3PO. Where is Master Anakin?"
Nice.
Which, yeah, that was a nice. But you could hear the crowd from Mos Espa, so
yeah.
I cried during the Cats. Well, was it because of? Do you have allergies, Brinsley?
Wow, Brinsley, you were there for that. That's awesome. Yeah, that was a long time ago now, wasn't it? I was like quite a few drinks deep into that.
Chris?
Yeah.
What happened,
Well,
Chris?
I'm a racist and a bigot, and I'm this now apparently. So there you go.
I know, but that's why I don't want to have to go digging through that channel to find this. So what the fuck is Brinsley talking about?
It's probably been deleted at this point, I'm guessing. Anyway, Bath Time says the only
that's
Disney
a lot
Star
of effort you expect them to go through.
I wouldn't put it past a certain person. Bath Time says the only Disney Star Wars I've really enjoyed was Solo. Yeah, I know a lot of people are quite positive on Solo now. We're just kind of indifferent towards it. I guess I didn't really like it, but I don't rage against it as much as like the sequel trilogy. It's just kind of
Solo is a 2-hour episode of animated Star Wars that just happens to have been filmed in live action.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's fine.
Tobias says, "Do we ever get any R2D2 POV shots? Do we? I guess in Revenge of the Sith, when he's seeing the super battle droids approach him in the hangar.
Oh yeah. That's
kind of a POV, I suppose. Maybe.
I feel like that would be a lot. If we got R2 POVs, we'd see a lot of people's crotches. He's down there, isn't he?
Tobias says, "Cats brought to you by the same man who produced the King's Speech." Yeah, what's his career doing now? Has he made a film since Cats? I mean, I often wondered this as well because I think Cats was Cats still on stage in London on the West End, and because of the negativity of that film, doesn't that have an impact on ticket sales of the actual musical? Like everyone thinks, "Oh, Cats! Oh yeah, it was that piece of shit movie. I'm not going to go and see that musical." And then, yeah, it's a lose-lose, really, isn't it? It's bad publicity for it, I suppose. Oh, Bath Time says, "I reckon the Constant episode from Lost could still get me really emotional." Dude, September,
Actually,
we're going to get the 20th anniversary.
Did you ever watch the show Alias?
No, I know that was another J.J. Abrams thing,
That was
wasn't it?
that was a French show for me because for those of you who don't know, I my family has property in France, and we bought a bunch of like English DVDs so we could watch things while we were over there when it was like we weren't doing something else.
Hmm.
Hey, buddy. Uh, and one of them was the first season of Alias. So
Hmm.
we watched that. I ended up buying the second one, and then I started the third one on Netflix, and I was like, and I said I the start of season 3 closed a mystery box so fucking fast so it can open another one, and I'm just like, nope, nope, I'm good.
Oh, I can't wait.
And
So
looking back, I'm like, oh my god, that was a J.J. Abrams show.
I've heard the ending's really bad, as is the case of most J.J. Abrams properties. So I stayed
I
away from
didn't
it.
watch the rest of I didn't watch the rest of it after that. I stopped there. I was like, the machine was bullshit. It was
Hmm.
bullshit. It was all bullshit.
I'm
And she's
sorry.
been gone for a year.
I'm just
She
reading
didn't
all these.
teleport. She's been gone.
I love how like literally all of my viewers on my channel are Lost fans, and I'm fucking here for it. Like the amount, I love when like I offhandedly mention a Lost reference or someone else does in the comments, and then we just get sidetracked by Lost for like 5 or 10 minutes, and I love it. Travis says, I legit teared up when Grogu was knighted by Lizzo in Mando season 3. Oh yeah, that happened. Sorry. When the story takes a step back, so the characters can accomplish something small, is always compelling to me. I like that idea, but Lizzo in Mando season 3, that whole episode, like that could have been good, but
I see. I love Star Wars when it's like that. I don't acknowledge. I acknowledge that I don't consider that like good Star Wars when it's Black, Lizzo, and was it Christopher Lloyd?
Christopher Lloyd, yeah, who could have been a really interesting character, but then they make a goofball out of him at the end.
No, 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 fuck that. No, I want the goof. I want him to like slowly get up as though he were a threat, and everyone's treating him like he's a threat, but he's if you just look at him objectively, he's just this geriatric,
Yeah,
and
he was about to talk
he's
about like the separatists and like the political stance of the separatists after the clone. I'm like, oh, this could be really cool. Oh, okay. Hey, he did a funny and fell over.
and I'm more focusing on when he's like, I'll push this button and send every battle droid into attack mode, and I'm
Oh,
like,
such a
wow.
fucking god. So
More
fucking good.
more of this occasionally. Like give me this. I like tapioca pudding, but
What's
I
really
don't
funny
want it
is
every
like
time.
a couple of weeks ago we talked about how Lizzo is basically cancelled now. Jack Black, as of like a week ago, has also been cancelled now too. Ending
Did
Tenacious
Jack Black
D,
get
his
canceled?
band.
I
Um,
I don't know the full details, but I heard he's just like that ended because he's like mad at Kyle Gass over something, and I'm not weighing in on any like a I have no idea what's going on. I wouldn't go so far as to say Jack Black is canceled.
Kyle Gass made comments at a show in Tenacious D in Australia regarding Trump's assassination attempt and made a joke out of it. This was
I
like
mean,
days after. This
how
was
do you
like
miss a
days
plus
after it
size target?
happened too.
How do you miss a
Um,
plus size target from 20 feet away?
well, there might be more to it. You never know. Um, and yeah, a lot of the venues in Australia started to cancel their placements during the events. As such, Jack Black cut ties with Carl Gass and made a statement saying he was cancelling Tenacious D. He's not coming back to it. He doesn't agree with any of the comments, blah blah blah. Even though he was laughing on stage. And then Carl Gass did some like basically it was like we're sorry you're angry about this. It's like we're not sorry for saying this. We're sorry that you it's like the narcissist's way of apologizing, oh, I'm sorry that you feel that way kind of thing. Yeah. Let me just go through a few more. Bath Time says Penny. Oh man, you mentioned The Constant. I just want to skip to season 4 now and just watch that. that phone call and the editing where it like cuts between. Best TV. One of TV's best episodes ever, and I will die on that hill. Season 4, The Constant. Love me some Desmond and Penny. The chemistry in that show is incredible between all of the characters. Sawyer and Juliet, like, can't wait. Anyway,
We've talked about Lost for like half of this.
I
No,
know,
but
I agree with Bath Time. The Constant is one of the finest hours of TV ever produced. Oh, Tobias wants to know the doggo's name.
Oh, this is Floyd. Say hi, Floyd.
Brinsley says, cue Giacchino music. Oh, I know. Oh, what's it called? Life and Death, like the main sad piano theme whenever a character dies. Oh, so I'm actually thinking of starting. Well, I need to watch Lost. Actually, there's over 100 episodes, and if I'm going to be doing this live stream in September, I need to be averaging like 3 episodes a day at least. That's a lot, and I don't have much free time because I have a lot of shit that I need to get taken care of. So I'm going to try and get them all watched before September. What might end up doing is I might push the stream back to the tail end of September. I actually haven't seen when the 20th anniversary officially is, like the day that it was released. If it's like early September, then it's going to be hard for me to get all the episodes watched. So I might push it to the end of that month just to give me a bit of extra leeway. But I will get to it if I can. And it'll be fun to talk about. We're already having fun talking about it now. And this ain't even the Lost stream. So I'm going to bring this back to a spark of hope before we round off.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a couple minutes.
I would encourage everyone to watch the edit. It would be my preferred way of watching episode 9. There are certain things in there, like little bits of rotoscope and a little bit of additional characters, which I really appreciate the concept of. But I think if a version 2 is ever produced, I think these could be tweaked. I think these could be reworked and be absolutely seamless. But I really like the ideas in there. You already know that I'm not a big fan of episode 7 and certainly not of 8, but I do appreciate that you do. And this was important to you to get an episode 9 that still might not be the episode 9 that you wanted based on episode 8, but by God, it's close and it carries over some of the ideas. So I really appreciate that idea and that you saw it done and you got it done.
This is the way.
See, look at that. We have differences of opinion on The Last Jedi. We could still be fucking respectful. We could still be friends. Let's see how that works. It's great. Yeah, fuck you. But yeah, no Palpatine. Biggest plus for me in the edit, and it works. And yeah, people should go and check it out. It's a little under 2 hours. So
yeah, it is just under 2 hours. I'd like to knock it up pause. I'd like to bring that up to raise that a little bit in future versions to over the 2 hour mark. But also, I think one thing we didn't. Kylo's motivation is different in this because I said that it was. I don't think I ever said what his new motivation was. I just pointed out that his motivation in episode 9 didn't work. It didn't make any sense.
So
he wants to murder Rey. Just so you know.
Yeah, he wants to kill the shit out of Rey. Tobias says, one thing I'll say about 9, at least it gives Rey a character arc and some growth. I'll go wash my hands now. Does she get an arc? What's her arc?
Rey's arc in episode 9 is the same arc as it is in episode 8. It's just different. It's not about who you are. It's not about where you come from. It's about who you are. Except
they do that 3 times because that storyline was tied up in episode 7 with Maz Kanata. Whoever you're waiting for on Jakku, they're not coming back, but you've got to look to the future, and you've got to go after Luke.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. And then
Rian Johnson bought it the fuck back and then did nothing with it and just said they're no one. I'm like, okay, great, thank you for that. And then episode 9's like, well, you're the granddaughter of Palpy, but shit, what you gonna do? Like, yeah. Bath Time says, make sure you start it by singing, you all, everybody. Actually, it's relevant that we talk about Lost in this episode because J.J. Abrams' connection and also a lot of the side characters that he uses in the sequel trilogy are from Lost. You have what's his name? Snaps? Snap? Is that his name?
Snap Wexley.
Yeah, he's the pilot
Yeah,
from
no,
the
he's very good.
pilot episode of.
That
It's actually
actor is very
genius.
good friends with JJ.
Like the first two episodes of Lost are kind of surrounding the pilot and the fate of the plane, and the pilot episodes are called Pilot. It's fucking great. So that's him. You've got Dominic.
That actor is an alias too.
You've got Dominic Monaghan, Charlie Hieronymus Pace. You have the Korean guy from Force Awakens, who's like the reconnaissance on the enemy base has just come in. It's like it needs some kind of thermal oscillator. Oh my god, and I've forgotten his name. He's in season 4.
Like Leia?
He's like he's like a clairvoyant. Fuck, what's his name?
I changed my hair.
That was really good. Oh god, someone help me. What's the name of the Korean dude in Lost who can sense when people have died and he can like contact the dead? Oh fuck. He's introduced in season 4. He's part of Naomi's team. Someone please help me for the love of Christ. Who else? I swear there's more Lost characters. There's a lot. It's like all the background characters. Wasn't Zori Bliss, Kurt Russell's daughter, wasn't she in Alias as well, I think?
I don't know. I do not know.
I don't think he was in Walking Dead, was he? I'm not sure.
That time, the character in Hero's name was Matt Parkman.
Yes, he was. I remember when that show was good for
really
one season.
For a season.
Yeah, for one season.
Thanks.
For one season.
I've been thinking about doing an edit of the last episode to just like close all of the loose threads.
Please do. Yeah, Sila's dead and doesn't crawl down a sewer.
Yeah.
Oh, he was in J.J. Abrams, wasn't he? Star Trek.
He was Spock.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone agrees. That was a good couple of years for TV, wasn't it? You had didn't like Heroes season 1 and Lost came out the same time or around the same time. That was a good couple of years, like those mid-2000s TV.
One last note about Spark.
Go on.
And maybe.
Mm-hmm.
DJ gets a cameo at the end. I like it.
I forgot to mention, DJ does get a cameo, and it's wonderful, and it's awesome, and I fucking hate the character of DJ, but I'm glad he gets some kind of... It's one shot, and one shot's all you need.
2 shots.
I thought he'd be enjoying his wealth. Like, I thought maybe you'd use shots of him as the Collector from the Marvel movies, like, all in finery and just, like, looking like...
I wanted to show him in the exact opposite of Canto Bight to show like he comes into money as quickly as he loses it.
Mm. Tobias says, and I love this by the way, think someone made a man edit. I think he means a fan edit, but a man edit. I want to know what this is. Plus the miniseries, which cleans up the ending and gets rid of some of the goofy stuff. So it gets rid of all the female characters. It's just pure sausage. This whole episode. Yeah, Tobias fan edit, but man edit sounds funny to say out loud.
That's not your mother, it's a man at it.
Scotty doesn't know is the greatest cameo of all time. I think we'll round off there then because we're coming up to an hour and a half. So go and check out JX's edit. God damn it, go and support him. And if you can't remember, you can't be bothered to just check the video description, but you want to check out some other stuff that he's done. The link to his channel is coursing across the bottom of the screen right now. I'm in position. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Nice. We got it.
Finally. After all these years.
So that's youtube.com/JXEditor. Head over there. Give him a subscribe if you haven't done so already. For the love of God, show some support. I'm sure he'd appreciate it. And go and watch his fan edit too. It's very, very good. If you like the stuff on here as well, and you like hearing us talk about Star Wars, do subscribe to the channel for reviews, discussions, and live streams, and especially our live streams every Wednesday. we are going to be talking about more Star Wars stuff. And I don't know if people saw this on the last stream that we did, because we went on for quite a long time. So I'm going to play the trailer again right now. This is what we've got coming up next week. So it's a short little trailer. It's like 30 seconds or so. Or actually, it's a minute. I'm going to click it now. This is what we've got coming up next week. These videos are going to be posted on JX's channel on Sunday. So you've got a good few days to watch them, and then we'll be discussing it on Wednesday. Here we go.
It's obvious to me that the Force has been working through you. There is no other explanation for your great success.
They say the Force can do terrible things to a mind, can wipe away your memories and destroy your very identity.
Wipe this pathetic planet from the face of the galaxy.
There we go. So that is going to be Wednesday. I'm really looking forward to it because I've never played the Old Republic. I only know very little about it. So this is going to be a really digestible and fun way. I'm just excited to see how it's going to be pieced into a TV kind of series format and how it's going to how it's all going to fit together and how it's going to go over. So I think these are going to be like 20-minute episodes or so, aren't they? I think 20 minutes, half hour.
25-minute episodes, yeah.
So even if you've played the game before and you know the story, I think it's still going to be an interesting and different experience to watch them packaged together like this in a viewing experience rather than actually playing them. So I think it's someone for everyone. If you're new to Old Republic and you don't want to sit through like a 10, 20 hour let's play, probably even more. I don't know how long those games are.
Or 3 2.5+ hour movies, which, there's a good. I'm using those movies as a basis for this show. That the credit where credit is due. But if you don't want to sit down for 2.5 hours, then I recommend probably go for this format. Chris, decide right now: 1 or 2 episode premiere.
2 episode premiere.
Okay.
Let's do
All
that.
Right. That makes sense.
So get to work. You're like, fuck.
No. The first season is done. The first volume is done. It's just about how quickly it determines how quickly I need to produce the other ones because I don't want to break between volumes.
Brinsley says, when is the next Star Wars stream again? Wednesday. So every Wednesday, 9:30, unless we say otherwise, British Standard Time. So yeah, looking forward to it. That, as I say, that episode is going to go up on Sunday, so you can find that, or 2 episodes, I guess, 2-episode premiere. Again, head over to JXEDITOR'S channel. That's where you'll see the episode. You'll be able to see it Sunday. We'll have Monday, Tuesday to watch it, and a bit of Wednesday, and then we're going to be going live that Wednesday night to talk about the episode from the weekend. And yeah, should be good. Looking forward to it. If it's me playing RPG, it will be 100+ hours. Probably. I've never played those games. I don't actually know how long the gameplay is, but
it can be pretty long. You could probably stretch it to like approaching 100 hours. It's an RPG from 2003, so
yeah. But I think that'll do it. So we'll round up there. I'm gonna say a big thank you to everyone who's turned out tonight. This has been great, keeping the conversation going. Talking about Star Wars, appreciation for the sequels, Episode 9, everything in between, and of course Lost. We love it. That's how it says "Singers Out" with "We Are Everybody." You're all everybody. You'll get it in Lost. You'll get it. That's how he sings it. That's how Merrier Doc Brandybuck sings that song. Anyway, thank you everyone. Have a great night.
Oh yeah, he's in this too.
He is. There you go. As I say, there's a method to my madness.
I don't think you mentioned that.
I did.
Okay. Whatever. Sign it out.
I'm signing it out. Good night, everyone.
Good night.